For those who are not familiar with life in Israel and Palestine, I'll start by saying that we don't live together, Jews and Palestinians. In some cases we live near each other, but in most cases we live in completely separate bubbles, separate experiences. And there are only a few times during a person's life where a person might actually have easy contact with the other side. One of the really negative developments that happened in the second Intifada was that we put up the wall, and even before the wall was put up, it was hard to meet. There were prohibitions about crossing lines and things, but the wall really represents an effort to block out, to not see, to almost to cancel the other. I'm from an organization of rabbis for human rights. And the name Rabbis for Human Rights is actually an insult, because it means that most rabbis are not for human rights. Otherwise we wouldn't start a group called Rabbis for Human Rights. Judaism is seen as, in Israel, very differently as it is seen in the life of Jews outside of Israel. I was raised, as you heard, in America. I left and came to Israel as a teenager. And in America, my understanding of Judaism was it was a force of conscience, caring about minorities, because we were a minority in America. We still are a small minority. So life for me in Israel, being part of the majority, was a rich life of Jewish culture, but it was also the life of an oppressive majority dominating Palestinians. How many years ago? In 1988, just after the beginning of the Intifada, we heard that soldiers had orders to break the bones of Palestinian demonstrators, non-violent Palestinian demonstrators. We were horrified that that could be done by a government which called itself a Jewish state. So we felt a need to speak up as rabbis for human rights. We started then as a protest movement or a solidarity movement. We began working in education to try to educate Israeli Jews about what Judaism could be, should be. I was the first soldier in my family in maybe 2,000 years. My kids went to the army, 2 of them. The oldest refused to go, and luckily her conscience was recognized and she didn't have to go. But I don't want my grandchildren to go to the army. So thinking of how this can be avoided, the question is how can we reach not only a peace, but a just peace? But as a Jew, as a rabbi, I have to recognize that some of the militant extremist Jews who are quoting from Jewish sources can say, yes, we have teachings that are belligerent, that are aggressive, that give us more privilege than the other. Now this, I'm sharing with you a challenge that I have in my own organization, because the organization is committed to Zionism. And I've grown beyond that to say that there's a difference between Zionism and Judaism. That the idea of doing everything to maintain a Jewish state is not an ultimate Jewish value.